This podcast is part of the Big Heads Media Podcast Network. Go to bigheadsmedia.com for more great podcasts. Well, hello everyone. Welcome back to Massive Late Fees Dumpster Diving, where we dive into the dumpster of something horrible from the past, a TV show. Usually it's a TV show. I guess everyone's...
If the dumpster was a Olympic swimming pool, we'd be the Mark Spitz of the dumpster.
Exactly.
Oh yeah, sure. What was the guy who cut his head open and just got blood everywhere? That's who I.
Yeah, that's right. Mark Spitz is the one.
Oh, was that Mark Spitz?
I think so. Or no, wait. Was it? What was? Yeah, was that Spitz? I think so. He had AIDS, right? It was the guy that had AIDS.
Full blown.
That's right. Full blown AIDS. I can't remember his name now. I think it was Mark Spitz.
In Philadelphia.
Let's see. Olympic diver who cut his head. Wow. Oh, Greg Louganis. That's right.
Yes.
Greg Louganis. That's the guy. Is he still alive? He is still alive. Good for you.
Greg Louganis of that dumpster.
Yeah, we are the Greg Louganis of dumpsters. That means we're LGBT activists and authors. We've won gold medals at the 84 and 88 Summer Olympics. But we also
feel like I feel that he's a good, not just him specifically, really probably not him specifically, but how is he still around? Like, what does he do now? He just comments on diving or something? Probably is that how he earns a.
I don't know. He coached in 2010, 2012, and 2016. So he was
okay. So I guess he's an Olympic coach. Then he's probably that's probably a good job afterwards.
Yeah, Olympic coach, and he's written some books about his life. He was also in the film Entourage as a fictional version of himself. Holy shit!
I never watched Entourage. Were you ever watch that?
I've never seen an episode of Entourage, and I didn't watch the Entourage movie. The only exposure I have to Entourage is from a podcast that I love that we frequently steal from called, or at least I do, called The Weekly Planet. They reviewed the Entourage movie, and they did an episode of Entourage on their Caravan of Garbage series that they do. Some people might say that that's
did we rip that off?
Some people might say that's a lot like dumpster diving and that we ripped that off. But I will say that we didn't, because this actually comes from
you were doing a show like this a long time ago.
Yeah, this comes from a YouTube series that I did a long time ago called Dumpster Diving. I would say parallel thought, but I mean it's barely even counts as parallel thought because
it's not it's not the most unique idea ever.
It's not unique at all. There are so many YouTubers or just different people that do some version of let's look at something from the past and make fun of it. So yeah, I
really like your dumpster diving ones you did on YouTube are hilarious. So the way you cut it together and stuff, and just the very nonchalant bored tone of voice. I love that.
Yeah, I enjoyed doing it. I might get back to it at some point, sometime. I don't know. We'll see. But anyway, so today, we, the Greg Louganis of the podcasting world, I'm talking about Entourage. So yeah, they did that on the Weekly Planet, and it sounds fucking awful. The show.
Yeah, I've never seen it, but it kind of looks like a show for douchebags.
Yes, exactly. And that's kind of how they describe it. That the main host, James, says that he said, when I first started watching it, I thought it was where they're self-aware, where they were look how ridiculous Hollywood is and stuff like that. But he's like, but no, they don't realize they don't realize how much of douchebags they are.
Right, yeah. It's I've never met somebody who's seen or liked Entourage, and I'm like, oh, that person's cool.
Mm-hmm.
It's oh man, I drank fucking 30 Pabst Blue Ribbons last night, and me and my boys watched Entourage.
Exactly. Oh, and I got my my friend Squiggy too. I iced him. I remember that game with or no, what was it? It wasn't Zima. It was, what was it? Yeah, it was ice, right?
Natural ice. I mean, it's smeared off ice.
Smeared off ice. That's what it was, right? People used to do that fucking game where they'd ice each other. It's like they'd show them a bottle of smeared off ice, and then they'd have to, the person that saw it had to like chug
Drink it immediately. Yeah.
It was fucking weird. But yes, that's what it was. It was every douchebag's favorite show.
Like, it's like you watch Entourage right before you go buy some GHB.
Exactly. Oh my god, yeah, I kind of, because of how hilarious the episode that they did, although I guess this might be ripping off if we did it, but kind of like because of how hilarious the episode they did was when they watched it and just absolutely ripped on the movie. I kind of want to watch it and review it, but I also don't at all.
Right. But yeah, like we were saying, I don't even know what we were saying at this point. We just brought up AIDS in like the first 5 seconds of our podcast, so that's always good.
Yeah, 9/11 can't be far around the corner.
Right.
But speaking of tragedies, we watched. Speaking of twins and tragedies, we watched.
Oh my god!
We watched Sister.
Would you say this is the most tragic thing involving twins you've ever seen? Like, this makes Joseph Mengele look like a Boy Scout, the way they butcher twins.
It's gotta be up there. Oh, but yeah. So, it's Tia and Tamara Mowry, for those of you that don't know, starred, real-life twins, starred in this show, Sister, which the one good thing about it, I don't even know if it's good, it's just an earworm, but the one thing that I'll never forget about it is just the very beginning of the theme song. The Sister.
Yeah, how could you forget?
But, so, I didn't realize that this took place in Detroit.
Yeah, I was just going to mention that. This is another show like Home Improvement, not that we're doing a theme or anything, but this also takes place in the local area, I guess.
Yeah?
The main character, not main character, but one of the characters is Ray. He's the father of Tia or Tamara, I don't know.
Yeah, he's the father of one of them.
He owns a limo company, and like he lives in like a giant mansion in Detroit for some reason because he owns a limo company. A limo company that at one point in the episode he has to drive the limo for himself. I might admit.
Yeah, maybe that's how he can afford the house. He's saving a bunch of money because he's doing all the driving.
I guess, but I don't really know that limo. I mean, I'm sure it's a lucrative profession, but I don't think limo drivers are like living like in mansions.
I wouldn't imagine. No, he'd have to have like an entire fleet.
I assume he does, but why he'd still drive it himself? Like, I have no idea.
I don't know. Maybe maybe the guy that was supposed to pick up immature was driving the Red Wings and,
Ooh.
had a couple too many.
Jeez, this is a dark episode.
How many just fucking horrific events can we mention?
Oh my god.
It's the same year too. This episode came out in 1997. That's the same year that happened.
Oh no. I wonder if they reference it at Sister later. Yeah, I'm down a driver,
Yeah. Konstantinov.
That's just sad.
But yeah, so I didn't realize that this took place in Detroit. They mention the Lions. I know Tim Reed, for those of you who are really old, might remember as Venus Flytrap on WKRP in Cincinnati. He's from the Detroit area. So at first I thought maybe it was just like that kind of a reference where he's like, oh, he's talking about the Lions because he's from Detroit. And maybe they're in Chicago and they're in town visiting, like playing the Bears or something like that. But no, they mentioned Detroit a couple times in this episode. It's clear they are supposed to be in the Detroit area.
Yeah, I've watched way too many episodes of Sister, and they reference Detroit quite a bit. I mean, they go hard into and they definitely make sure you know that they're in Detroit, which is weird because they never at any point show like an exterior shot of the city of Detroit.
Right.
I mean, you could probably buy that footage for like $10, but they just don't have it. So yeah, I just want to start this off by saying, after all the horrible things we've already mentioned, this episode is a piece of shit.
Oh, absolutely.
Like this, I know Small Wonder is bad. A Different World were bad. They were both very bad. I mean, I can at least say they probably had a really low budget. They were syndicated shows. They have an excuse. Yep. But I think Sister was like on a major network when it came out.
ABC.
Yeah, and that makes sense because Tia and Tamara's brother Taj, I think it is, Mowry. Mm-hmm. He was Teddy on Full House, which is an ABC show.
Yep.
And he also did the show Smart Guy, which is Disney, which is,
they
ABC.
own ABC, yeah.
So the Mowrys are all up in the ABC's business.
Absolutely. Let me ask you a question, because I was thinking, I don't know why, but this crossed my mind when I was watching this episode. Did black people, like, was this ever, like, so, did black people ever like this show, or, like, did they think it was cool or funny, or was this like a lame sitcom for black people? You know what I mean? Like, I'm trying to think of a good example of, like...
See, I don't know that it was...
Yeah, go ahead.
Much like Full House, I don't know that there were... I mean, obviously there were African-American, characters, and I mean, they didn't really dwell on that too much on this, or even Family Matters did slightly, I would say. There were a few references, like, there was like some racial issues and stuff. Mm. I don't think Sister and Sister ever made any reference to race at all, which, is great in a lot of ways, because I hope we get to a point in our society where it's not even, mentioned or an issue, or it's not like, ooh, new black show. I mean, why is it not just any show? I mean, our country is, obviously very culturally diverse. I mean, why even reference it? We should be Americans first, and then, I'm an American with heritage from Ireland or wherever. It's not like, oh, I'm an Irish American. It's like, no, you're not. You're an American. Your ancestors were from Ireland, but they ran away from there so you could be born here.
Right, exactly. No, I agree. I don't think that they actually ever mention it, but I just, like, I watched this and I'm like, God, would it just seems so fucking corny. Like, at one point they use the phrase, like, you're the bomb, or it's the bomb, and then you're the man, and something else incredibly 90s. And, like, I remember thinking, like, so was that cool then? Or were black people watching that thinking, like, this is fucking lame, or, like, was this their Full House, I guess?
I don't think this show is really for anyone. I don't know another person who's ever really watched the show, or who even understands what I'm talking about when I mention the show. I don't know how the show was on for, I think it was on for 4 or 5 seasons, maybe.
Yeah.
I believe it was in syndication at one point. I mean, I just don't know who was watching the show. I think it was just like a show that was okay enough. I mean, to be honest, I think wasn't it in the TGIF line?
It was, yeah, for a time. And it's in syndication now. It's in reruns right now.
Right. So, I mean, I think if you're watching, like, I don't know, Full House, and you're waiting till Boy Meets World goes on, I mean, it's the same quality level. It's not, like, demonstrably worse than either of those shows.
No, not at all. I think it's the same. Yeah, it's definitely the same quality as Full House and Boy Meets World.
Yeah, but so the episode starts off, I know one of the sisters is more like the bad one, and the other one's like the good one. Like, the one who grew up in, like, the wealthy household is, like, the good sister.
Yeah, it's
and
like
the one who grew up with Jack.
Yeah, with Jack A.
Yeah, is the bad sister.
It's a real
but I mean, not bad
situation.
Yeah, but I mean, really, even, like, their badness is, like, really kind of lame. Like, what happens in this episode is they're doing a rally, I think, or no, yeah, they're doing like a what do you call them? Is it raffle? That's it. They're doing a raffle, and they're trying to raise money to get their band to, I think it's a state championship or something like that, isn't it? Band or dance or something stupid.
It's band, but I don't know if it's like the school band.
Yeah, it's a school band, and they're trying to raise money to go to, like, the state championships, which.
Right.
First of all, they're all wealthy. I mean, this is like a wealthy, like, neighborhood. They're at a really rich school. Can't their parents just give them the money to go?
You would think so.
Yeah, but secondly, the bad sister, which I don't know who it is. Tamara, we'll say. Tamara, this evil girl, she promises that a celebrity is going to show up to the raffle. To they think they'll get more people there. They'll have more tickets. They'll all be able to go to the state champ.
Yeah, all they have to do is say, hey, a celebrity's going to be there, and apparently everyone's going to show up.
Yeah, and of course it works. Like Tamara works at a bookstore, and there's a famous author. I can't remember what his name is. I don't even know if it's supposed to be a real person. I don't think so.
Was it like Terrence Knox or like...
Something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
I didn't care enough to look it up. That's how little...
Kirk something. Kirk I don't know.
Kurt Rambis, I think, was the author.
Yeah. Kirk Rambis, that's right.
But so, like, do you remember the parties where we used to go to? They always had the Kurt Rambis card there.
Yes.
I would always look at it and be like, why?
You know what I want to point out real quick though? When they're having their little meeting about this raffle and everything, goddamn Gabrielle Union was on this show.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe that. I was like, oh my god, that is Gabrielle Union.
Yeah, that's pretty ridiculous. But so, like, they say this author's going to be there, and then her boss. And do you recognize who her boss?
Yeah, it's or Kid. I mean,
Kid. It's Kid from Kid and Play.
Yeah.
Which is that this is going to all tie in together. It's going to blow your mind.
Oh yeah.
But so Kid, who was like the wacky boss who apparently there's an episode where he's like a misogynist. If it turns out he's paying the women less than the men, but this is not this episode.
Oh wow.
But so he like basically tells her like no one but him is allowed to talk to the author, and sure enough, the author runs out and like and then so I think they go back to their house and like, oh no, what are we gonna do? And Roger, their wacky neighbor, who everyone they always dislike him, but judging from this episode, I don't see why they dislike him. He could be like a nicer person. He's always like super helpful and trying to help them out and stuff.
Seriously.
But he's like bending over backwards. Like, oh, I know the group Immature. I know Batman. He's my cousin. And for those not to know, erroneously referred to the group he was in as B2K, I believe. Mm-hmm. But Marcus Houston is in the group Immature, which, judging by the audience response, nobody knows. Like, I don't think a single person in the audience knows who Immature is or that he's in the group.
Yeah.
There's literally no reaction whatsoever to him saying Immature. You expect one person to laugh or clap? It doesn't happen.
No, not at all. Yeah, everyone's like, who the fuck is Immature?
And they're like, they're very impressed. Like, wow, you can't get Batman from Immature. Mm-hmm. So he's like, okay. And then so, they're fighting over and over. Oh, we can't do this. And then Roger actually does go into the kitchen and he calls them up and he says, hi, Aunt so-and-so, this is Roger. And they're like, who? And he basically has to explain who he is.
Yeah. It's that classic move where his own aunt doesn't know who he is.
Yeah, but he finally explains, oh, it's so-and-so's, son. He goes, oh, can I get my cousin, to show up at the school for, his cousin that he doesn't even know to impress these girls who hate.
Right. Exactly. Foolproof plan.
Who I bend over backwards for constantly and just have no reward other than being told to go home constantly. But she tells them that, unfortunately, Immature has gone on tour.
Yeah, no question about where are they. Like, that was the first thing I thought is, where are they touring?
And the fact that, they have phones, you think they'd be able to contact him. It's like, oh, he's on tour. It's like, you don't contact him while he's on tour?
They live like Amish when they're on tour. They go from gig to gig in a horse-drawn carriage. They don't use any phones.
Right. And then there's a subplot with Ray, like he's dating a woman and but there's a conflict because he wants to go to the Lions game and I actually completely forgot about this, but they missed it in the episode that at this time the Lions are in a Pontiac, which is quite a drive.
Yep, the Silverdome.
I'm like, oh, that's not too hard. He could easily go to this. It's a fashion show or something that he goes to with her. I don't remember.
Yeah.
But I'm like, oh, that's not far. You just go hop out over to Ford Field. But he said, oh yeah, the Silverdome. That's a drive.
Yep.
But then Jack A, a wise woman that she is, smells vanilla perfume on him, and he confesses that he actually did go to the fashion show, then to the Silverdome.
Yeah, he went.
So he basically missed the first half. Yeah, because if you want to go to a Lions game, the second half is really where you want to show up.
Exactly.
Right in time for them to break your heart.
Oh yeah, this would have been the time period when Barry Sanders was still on the team as well.
Oh yeah, I mean it's worth going just for him, obviously at that point.
Yeah.
But yeah, so then they come to the startling conclusion of like, hey, wait a second, Roger kind of looks like this Batman guy.
Yeah, because it's the same person.
And it's like, and again, no laughter, no clapping, and I think it's a live audience. It's not like canned laughter. Like they just don't know who this person is.
Yeah, they don't know who Batman is. They don't know who Immature is. They're sitting there like Michael Keaton is in, or no, I guess it would be Val Kilmer at this time, right? Like or George.
I don't think these people are familiar with the show at all.
This is a group of people that they just were on the street and they're like, hey, do you want someplace warm to sit?
Like they were the people that were rejected from like a more highbrow intellectual show like Step by Step.
Yeah, they weren't allowed in the step-by-step audience.
Right, they didn't get it. But yeah, so they're here, and this is like, you know, perfect like '90s, like, you know how they would always like, oh, take the girl's glasses off and ponytail out, she's beautiful. Like they go, well, if we flatten your hair out, you'll look just like him, and sure enough, he looks just like him.
Yep. Just put on these sunglasses and put on a silk shirt.
And again, no reaction for the audience. Like I kind of felt bad for the actor who plays Roger, Marquez Houston.
Yeah.
I'm like, I mean, this poor guy. I mean, he thinks like he's gonna get this big reaction, and just nothing happened. But then back at the sister house, I forget their last names. Maori. It's Maori.
The sister palace.
Sister Harris.
Right. Back at World Trade Center 1.
Jeez, 7. That's the one you gotta ask about.
Right.
But yeah, so he goes ahead and he gets an emergency call. He's the owner of the company on a Sunday has to run out and pick up. Guess who?
Yeah.
The immature.
So
him and
kids.
Yeah, he and Jack go ahead and pick him up, and they come back with Jess's Batman guy. And like it basically seems like they strong-armed him into doing this. And what's kind of funny is that Jack refers to Ray as her chauffeur.
Yeah.
Like she just like can't stand the fact that, you know, she just has to, this person she doesn't know at all, she has to make him think that, oh, he works for me. Just what the fuck?
But yeah, it's weird because it's one of those incredible coincidences that only happen on TV. Oh, they just happened to be in Detroit on tour, and I happened to have gotten the call or the business to pick them up from the airport.
Yeah, so they take him to the school where the sisters are, I guess they're guilty. They don't really seem like they care that.
Yeah.
But they're talking about like Roger, like, oh, Roger, you have to take your shirt off. Batman would never do that. Like, wear a shirt.
Yeah, Batman's always bare-chested. Real quick.
He can't even afford a phone. Do you think he could buy a fucking shirt?
No shit. You know what, though? Real quick, Mike, before I forget, I just want to point out that, if you want to be able to afford a great phone and you want to see double, just like in
or the World Trade Center.
You should go to mybookie.ag and you'll use code LATEFEES, LATEFEES, all caps, to double your deposit. You want to do that at mybookie.ag. Enter that promo code LATEFEES and get double your deposit up to $1,000. Bet on some games. You play, you win, you get paid. That's how it's done. Now let's see if Sister can get paid.
With mybookie.ag, you can turn your money into a twin.
That's right. And this tower, though,
and hopefully on that cold Tuesday morning.
Yeah, your tower of chips won't collapse on mybookie.ag.
I don't endorse any of Mark's comments during this one, by the way. But yeah, so they go to the school, and like the sisters are with Roger, and like it's a very weird like setup because like these two, their friends go and talk, and they're gonna bring the sisters out to talk,
right?
And then there's like and this is like, as far as wacky mix-ups go, this is the dumbest one I've ever seen pulled off or not pulled off in a show.
Mm-hmm.
Because we have like Roger goes in the bathroom, and then Batman goes in there, and it's like, obviously like a very like, at the time, probably like not even a novelty at that point anymore. We're like, oh, you see two of the same person next to each other on screen.
Right.
Then the real Batman goes out with the sisters when they think that Roger is, just dressed up as a Batman because, he looks so much alike that they can't fucking, they want to fuck this Batman guy. This goddamn Roger's next door this whole time, just, bending over backward for them.
Seriously, why don't you bend over frontwards for him?
I mean, maybe, what the fuck? I mean, there's two of them, there's two of you.
Exactly. Oh.
So, actually, I meant to bring this up earlier. What's kind of weird is, I guess Marcus Houston was actually in House Party 3
oh my
with
God.
Kid and Play. And also Immature was in House Party 3 and 4.
That's awesome.
So he comes back, and can you imagine being a kid and you have to come back? And what the fucking reversal of fortune this is? You're on this guy who showed up in your movie where you were the star. He was in there probably 5 minutes.
Marquez Houston's like,
Yeah,
hey kid.
how would you like a small part on my show?
Yeah, I run this fucking shoot.
But yeah, so Batman goes out there, and of course, everybody in the crowd knows who he is.
Yep.
Like, this is like a rare instance where you hear like cheering from the characters on screen, but the audience is just like silent, like they're like,
Yeah.
witnessing the destruction of an American institution, or their favorite diver dashing his head up.
It's so funny too. They get to use the line "I'm Batman," which is great.
Oh yeah, that was like, oh, I forgot to mention too, at the very beginning there was a lot of just like straight up mugging to the camera, which was ridiculous.
Oh yeah. What's the one girl says something like, oh, what does she say? We're all, I don't remember. Either Tia or Tamara like looks right at the camera and says something. They mention that you'll be famous and then we can have our own sitcom and all this stuff.
Yeah, it's like, I don't think I laughed at any point during this.
No, not at all.
But what's messed up is so Roger knows that Batman is there. He's standing right next to him. The sisters aren't in on it. Batman knows that Roger was there dressed as him, so he goes out there and like he starts going Batman, and the crowd just like goes nuts. But then right at the worst possible moment, the sisters decide to confess.
Yep. Well, they tried to.
Yeah, they tried to. But what's funny, and this makes no sense, is Batman just doesn't understand what the confusion is. He literally finds out like a minute before that he's actually there. They were going to have Roger out there instead of him, and he goes out and he forgot about it.
Yeah, it's so ridiculous. He
doesn't understand how the sisters don't know that he's Batman. There's no reason they would know this. He knows that they don't know it's.
It takes Roger shouting from off stage to shut up, basically, for them to realize what's going on.
Right, and they right at the last moment before their confession, it makes it all right because they, by some crazy series of coincidences, they pulled it off with no effort on their own part. Roger did it all, and they hate Roger, and they fucking criticize him right after he does all the shit for them.
Yeah, exactly. Roger really did do it all. Roger and Jack A.
Well, yeah, of course, Jack A is going to do it all.
But yeah, so they. It's so ridiculous, and they do the classic. But if you're there and you're there, you what?
Right. I mean, and they're twins, so that's like you know how twins always pull that shit at everyone in movies.
Yep.
Ugh. Yeah, and then inexplicably, I don't even understand how this doesn't make any sense. The other two members of Immature just show up.
Yep.
You don't see them. What were they hiding in the limo the whole time? They don't mix with them at all. I think they even say they picked up Batman, not Immature.
You know what's so funny to me? So, two things I want to say that are really funny. One references actual Batman. The other references these guys. I guess I'll do the regular Batman thing first. So, one thing that I think is hilarious in I think it's in Batman and Robin is when Tommy Lee Jones gets turned into Two-Face. They're at a trial and they do this flashback or whatever of this happening. So he gets the acid thrown into his face, and then Batman, in full Batman costume, jumps from the audience of the gallery or whatever of the trial to try to stop him. But it suggests that before this happened, Batman was just sitting in the audience in his uniform, just listening to this trial.
He didn't even have a good seat.
Yeah. So, in the much the same way, this just supposes that the other two singers in Immature, while this whole scene is playing out on the stage, are just standing behind the curtains. Just waiting, just standing there on either side, Well,
we saw people walk through already. We already saw people go through this curtain.
Yeah, exactly. It's so ridiculous. But yeah, I have no idea where they came from at all.
Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, it's a ridiculous episode. Nothing works in it. I found myself reading at various points during this episode. Like I just pulled out a book and started reading it. I had to like force my attention back to it. It was so like just boring and bland and not good.
The only thing that you could say about it is that the 9/11 conspiracy that's buried in it is interesting because they mention "You're the bomb" in it, and "You're the man." The man is obviously a reference to George W. Bush, who was the president of the country at the time, and the bomb is a reference to the possible bombs that were placed at the foot of the buildings to make them collapse. As opposed to the official story. That's the only interesting thing about it to me. You picked up on that too, right, Mike?
No. All right, well, that's way more time than anyone should spend on Sister Sister, and again, I don't associate myself with any of Mark's comments or my own comments.
Hey, well, have a good day, everybody. Do all the shit that you're supposed to do, like
After we brought you down on so many levels, have a good day.
yeah, have a good day. Like, hey, you like, follow, tell your friends. I fucking hate myself. I hate doing this begging shit at the end. Just do the stuff. I don't care. Just do it. And enjoy what we do. We'll see you next week. Bye.
See you next time.